Hello, this is Danny Blyth from the College of Integrated Chinese Medicine, talking about the metal element. Remember, this is for Chinese medicine students only. Please pause and read. So the Shuowen describes layers of earth, deep layers of earth, with nuggets inside, which is the idea of something precious. Looking at the bronzes, more likely is that we've got an arrowhead, an axe, which would have had a rounded bottom, and nuggets, so weapons made from nuggets of metal. And finally, that this is a picture of a Chinese bell, like this one at the British Museum, a call to praise or a call to action. And the character for metal can also represent gold and money, so wealth. So if we think of metal, we think of gold, we think of something hidden and precious, and something that's only found in small amounts. So we might think of the importance of minerals in food. And having something precious of great value, we have to have the ability to experience its worth, and we also have to be prepared to lose it. So we may associate metal with wealth and money. We may associate it with bling, with jewellery, with representations of our status. We may associate it with worship and with what is pure and sacred. Our metal can be well looked after, shiny and polished, or it can be rusty and tarnished. Another unusual quality about metal is, although it's dense and solid, it has the ability to be melted and remoulded into different form. We also think of something which is very dense in its nature. Its energy goes downwards and also inwards. So metal as a conductor can conduct heat, can become hot and dry, or it can become cold. Think of how it can connect things together, like in technology. We've never been more connected, but on another level, never more isolated. Cold metal condenses liquid, and one of the jobs of the lungs is to condense the fluids, descend the fluids, and to irrigate the whole body and the skin. And the large intestine reabsorbs fluids. Because of both of these things, the climate associated with metal is dryness. So if we think of the direction of all the elements, fire spreads upwards, water always finds its lowest point, goes downwards, much beloved of the Taoists. The energy of wood is upward and outward in all directions. So think of how the leaves of a tree fill up a canopy, and the direction of metal is downwards and inwards. So we can see that we've got two pairs of fire and water, upward and down, and wood and metal, outwards and inwards. And we have earth as the stabilizing centre. These are sometimes represented as being old yang and old yin, more absolute, and young yang and young yin, representing yin within yang. So if we think of this in terms of the seasons, we go from absolute yin in the depth of winter, and then that yin energy starts to move outwards and become spring. It reaches its zenith in the summer with fire, and then that yang energy starts to decline and move inwards for metal phase in autumn. So metal is dense in nature, its energy is inward and downwards, and it corresponds to autumn and to young yin. So the character for autumn shows ears of wheat dried by the heat of the sun. This is fire. When we think of harvest in the autumn, we think of reflecting on that harvest, preparing for the winter, and withdrawal. So going back to our character, we had the idea of weapons. We could extend this to armour and to protection. So the power associated with metal is decrease. The organs associated with metal are the lung and the large intestine. We have to remember that these are different to the ones that we think of in Western medicine. The lung embraces everything from the tip of the nose through the sinuses into the throat and into the bottom of the lungs. And also the skin and the immune system are seen as mostly belonging to the lung. And these are organs of taking in the pure and letting go of the impure. So the lungs mostly taking in, some letting go, the gaseous exchange. Large intestine mostly letting go of the dirty wastes, but some taking in of the pure as well. And we could say that all of these are the outside. The lung not so obviously outside as the skin, but still essentially outside where gaseous exchange happens, and the large intestine is kind of outside of our systems, an area where we colonise bacteria. So the colour associated with metal is white. This is a picture of a reel of cotton. So we may see a metal imbalance as being a powdery white or a bone white colour to the face. So the sound is weeping, and the character shows water on the left and a person standing alone on the right. So tears, sobbing, weeping. And a weeping voice sounds locked in the chest, as if somebody's about to cry. It can often have pauses, so somebody talks and then they might leave quite long pauses before they continue. So think of the voice of a vicar at a funeral, somebody giving you sad or serious news. The odour is rotten, so we may get a whiff of raw meat, rankness, fishiness, the smell of old bins, an intense or prickling smell. On more positive odours we might detect an autumnal walk, fungi, puer tea, a leathery smell, a mineral-like smell like fresh blood, or a plastic smell like the smell of a new car. And the emotion is grief, our ability to take in something of quality and then to be able to let go of it appropriately. So we see a few characters associated with this. Yo has a head, a constrained heart, and dragging legs, so dragging your heavy heart and body around. This is sadness, grief, sorrow, melancholy. And Bay, we have the heart, and we have two people back to back, so the idea of not communicating, so a heart not communicating with itself is sadness or grief. So we see grief in the face as a sinking, so the eyelids sink, the corners of the mouth sink, the cheeks are pulled downwards, lower lids are loose, and tears. So in the Suen it talks about grief making the chi dissolve or disappear. And remember that grief, normal grief, is part of life. Grief only becomes a problem if it becomes prolonged, if it's suppressed, if it's excessive, or if it's lacking. So if somebody stays in a permanent state of loss or melancholy, or if they fail to acknowledge their grief. Finally, the taste associated with the metal element is pungent, acrid, spicy. So this counterbalances lungs' inward and downward action by dispersing outwards and upwards. So think of how the sour, constricting flavour correlates with wood, and how the pungent, spicy flavour correlates with metal. So this can move stagnant chi and blood. Think of how the onion family helps circulation. Can promote sweating and clear cold. So think of how you might have fresh ginger tea when you have a head cold. Can aid digestion and clear phlegm. So think of how we use herbs and spices as digestives. And it can destroy parasites. So strong pungents like garlic can be used to kill parasites.